Hi, welcome back to The Scent Advocate. Tonight we're going to be talking about fragrances I wore during the month of May. And Chris, this one is for you. I'm sure you all know Chris from the Perfume Nest. She is amazing. If for some reason you don't know her, I'm going to link her channel in the description below. You absolutely must watch her. She's been such an inspiration to me and so many others on YouTube. Just incredible woman. Definitely check her out. So yes, I've never made a video like this before and I'm a little nervous about it. So do stick around till the end because I've got a clue during the course of the video that'll tell you what the last fragrance is. Can you guess? I always play a little game, right? Where, you know, I give some kind of clue as to what the last fragrance in the lineup will be. I don't know why I'm so nervous making this video. This is like my 6th attempt at making the video. I just kept screwing it up and coming back and screwing it up. Did I already say I'm having water? I've lost track of how many times I started the video and restarted because I feel, I don't know, I just feel nervous because I've never made a video like this before. Okay. I'm drinking water. Let's jump right in. Okay. The first fragrance, well, let me just give you a little bit of background. My monthly lineup, tends to be kind of on a rolling basis, right? I don't put out a perfume tray every month. I know a lot of people do, and I get it. I see why. This way, you know, it forces you to really wear the fragrances you acquire in your collection. But for me, I kind of do that naturally. There's nothing that I have that I don't really wear. I go through very naturally. But what I find myself doing is wearing frequently the fragrances that are newer to my collection. So I will start out with a sample, and if I like it, I'll test it. But I don't usually buy a large sample. I'll buy a 1 or 2 ml, go through that pretty quickly, and then I'll move on to a full bottle if I like it. If I don't, it goes into my sample collection, which is enormous. I probably have well over 1,000 samples, the little 1-ouncers. So I digress. A lot of these fragrances that I'll talk about today are new to my collection. In fact, I think they all are. And this May, I tended to use a lot of those. Now, that doesn't mean these are the only fragrances I wore. These are the ones I wore a lot of. These stood out to me as I looked at my collection. I said, you know, what did I wear during the month of May? All right, let's jump in. I'm going to butcher this, you guys. I'm so sorry. Le Bras de Morphée by Hellenist. I hope I said that correctly. So this is 100 ml. It goes for about $218. It's a 2025 release, and it's an EDP. The nose behind this is Susie Healy. The notes in this are violet leaf, orris, peach, heliotrope, violet, hazelwood, vanilla, tonka bean, and cashmeran. This is so lovely. One of you suggested this fragrance to me. I got the travel size and I got through about half of it. But before I went through half of it, I knew I had to get a full bottle of this, and I did. This is a smoky iris. It's very, very comforting, soft, but that peach is, it adds brightness at the beginning. So my little girl and I wore this yesterday when we went to a local festival, and it was a sunny day, but it wasn't too hot, and it was perfect. But we were walking around a lot, and so she perspired a little bit, but it just kind of bloomed on her, right? Doesn't everything bloom on, you know, a young teenager, a young teenage girl? Everything smells great on them, but it didn't smell bad on me either, although I didn't perspire. But the point is, it's great on a bright sunny day. It just works in that kind of environment, and I associate it with that happiness, even though it's a smoky iris. And I don't usually get a smoke with an iris. Maybe it has something to do with that hazelwood. I'm really not familiar with that as a note. If you know anything about hazelwood, let me know in the comments. Do you think that could be responsible for it? If I had to guess, I would have thought maybe some olibanum in here. Not frankincense, but maybe an olibanum. It's more of a neutral smoke fragrance, or note rather. Really, really beautiful. And even though that sounds like it would be something best in cooler weather, worked beautifully for us yesterday. Le Bras de Morphée by Hellenist. All right, moving on. We've got a newer acquisition, Love for Sale. Wore the heck out of this one. Much anticipated from Francesca Bianchi. As you all who follow me know, I was desperate for two limited edition fragrances from Francesca Bianchi. I was successful in getting this one. This was a blind buy. The other that I wanted was Sticky Lips. I was unsuccessful in getting that one, but I have to be honest with you, this more than scratched the itch. I find it hard to miss what I never knew. And the fact is, I never sampled Sticky Lips. So this, oh, this is so lovely. So this is a 30 ml extrait, and I think I paid about $200 for this. And it was just a couple of months ago that I ordered this as a re-release of a limited edition. Okay, so the notes in this are leather, rose, peach, iris, aldehydes, oak moss, vanilla, vetiver, heliotrope. Oh, it is so beautiful. There's supposed to be a candy note in this. This may be the most sophisticated, upbeat leather, right? I mean, you think about leather and it comes in so many different ways. It can conjure up so many different emotions for me. Mostly it has to do with safety and security. For some reason, I just associate it with that. But this one, it's not that it's not safe. It's that it's more formal, more sophisticated than, say, you know, the rock and roll kind of leather that you get. I know this is supposed to be very casual, you know, candy stuck to the bottom of your, I don't know, Birkin or Kelly bag, right? No, I mean, sure, but there's something much more formal about this for me. Very beautiful, very refined, very sophisticated. The oak moss gives it just the slightest hint of earthiness. Definitely, you know, something I could see myself wearing as a signature scent. I don't have a signature scent, but if I were to have one, this would be a strong contender. Just beautiful stuff. Love for Sale by Francesca Bianchi. Next, we have, oh, did I go bonkers for this one this month? Osmanthus by Molinard. Okay, so this is a 75 ml. It goes for about $122. Excellent price, in my opinion. It's an EDP, and it is a 2021 release. Okay, this fragrance I sampled it. but it wasn't a typical, you know, like decant sample. They come in, I want to say 7.5 mil travel size. And I love Osmanthus. And this, oh gosh, this is exquisite. This may be the best Osmanthus I've ever smelled, and I've got quite a few really good ones. It's so hard though, because Osmanthus just really resonates with me. I love purple florals. I also love yellow florals, like ylang ylang. And I'm probably wrong to do this, but I put lilies in that category too. I love gardenia as well, even though that's white. It's got that heavy, waxy, tropical feel to it, like ylang ylang. And so in my mind, I kind of bunch them all together. And in any event, this is a purple floral. And the notes in this fragrance are bergamot, mandarin, jasmine, osmanthus, tuberose, apricot, iris, and white musk. There's also something called pink bay in this. What is that? Does anyone know what that is? Let me know in the comments. So this is a bright, fruity osmanthus. Bright, fruity, juicy, and at the same time soft and powdery. I get overripe peach. You get a sumo orange, right? This is not a bergamot. Even though there's bergamot in here, this is not that, you know, very zippy, zingy, acidic. No. I get the beautiful, bright, super sweet orange in here, but not the sometimes bitterness that can come with bergamot, at least for me. And the beautiful powdery floral. I remember saying when I talked about this in a recent video that it reminded me of the last day of school. And I've been thinking about that a lot because my little girl, we're in New York, so she gets out of school later than a lot of kids throughout the country. They also start later. They start after Labor Day. So, you know, I'm anticipating that for her. I'm thinking about her last day of school and, you know, just what a great time she's going to have on the last day, you know, looking forward to summer and this bright, happy, positive, fruit-forward osmanthus just gives me that sense of, you know, just great times ahead. It's going to be a fantastic summer, just bliss. You know, you can't see too far beyond the next few weeks when you're her age anyway. At least I couldn't when I was her age. Gorgeous stuff. I absolutely adore Osmanthus by Molinard. Moving on, we've got, try to get this one right, Hortense by Rancé. I thought it was Rance, but it's Rancé, or Rancé. Gosh, I hope I got that right. Okay, so this is an EDP. It is a 75 ml and it goes for about $90. This has notes of cardamom, pepper, bergamot, cinnamon, rose, incense, cedar, mahogany, and vanilla. This was also a blind buy. I had been reading about this for years, and what I loved and what I trusted in buying this was that it is a vintage house, much like this one. Rancé has been around for, I want to say, a couple hundred years. I have notes on it somewhere. It's been around a long time. Ah, yes. Since the 1600s. Okay. Quite a while. So these folks know what they're doing. The Rancé family still runs the business today. So yes, fragrance is in the blood over there. And I was absolutely right to take a chance on this. It's a very citrusy, cardamom, spicy, fragrance, comforting, enveloping, just a very citrus spice forward fragrance. Very complex, lots going on. All the notes that I read off, I can pretty much detect. The mahogany comes off as a dry, dark wood, as opposed to a light wood like a sandalwood. It's very strong. That woody note is strong, and it's singular, right? I don't see mahogany as a note in very many fragrances, so I really appreciate that standout kind of quality. Very satisfying, and I found myself reaching for this a lot during the month of May. I just fell completely in love with it, and I wanted to be in it all the time. So, and I've still been wearing it into June. I truly love this. It's made me very curious about what other offerings this house has. So I have grabbed some more samples that are on the way. I found some samples. Again, this was a blind buy, but I found some samples of this, and I'm grabbing them. I'm really excited to try them. This is so beautiful, a spicy citrus, gorgeous offering from the house of Rancé. It's Hortense. Next, we've got, oh yes, an amazing discovery of mine in the month of May. It is Ikiryo, and this is I'm in the Mood, M''oud. There we go. The nose behind this is Vincent of Dream House. I'm absolutely in love with this 2024 offering. I think it goes for about $150, $160 for this 70 ml. This is white chocolate, black currant, frangipani, incense, myrrh, clove, musk, and oud. Very dark, very mysterious, very moody. And I'm not making a joke. It's not a pun. I think that's the intent. Very chocolate incense. The clove is there, but if you don't love clove, it's okay. This isn't in your face clove. The clove melds really well with that white chocolate, kind of giving it a darker chocolate expression is what I take away from it. I wouldn't have known that it was white chocolate and clove. I would have just thought it was a dark, maybe more than semi-sweet, maybe like an 80% chocolate, maybe a little less, or 80% cocoa chocolate. There's the slightest hint of a cannabis in here, just very, very little bit. And I'm not a huge fan of cannabis and fragrances. There are a few that I have that I do enjoy. I don't judge. I don't smoke pot. I'm just, I'm high on life. What can I say? High on my water. The occasional glass of, domestic brute. That was a disaster the other night. Anyway. But I do enjoy once in a while, when done right, that note can be very brightening, complimentary, and almost sweet. And that's what I get from this. I think it's the black currant leading me down that path. Perhaps the frangipani. But this is a stunning, moody offering that it's very, makes you feel kind of stoic, makes you want to write something great or dream something amazing. It's beautiful. I am a huge fan of this house, Ikiryo, and the nose behind the fragrances, Vincent of Dream House. Gorgeous stuff. It is I'm in the Mood. Wore this a lot during May. All right, moving on, we've got one I waited a long, long time and contemplated for a while before I pulled the trigger on this one, but I found it for a decent price. If one could call the price of fragrances these days, niche fragrances, decent at all. This is Russian Tea Oud by Masque Milano. This is 100 ml. This is an EDP. It does retail for $675, and it's a 2023 release. I did not pay $625, but I paid a lot. So this fragrance is by Julien Rasquinet. The nose. This is stunning. And this is the kind of fragrance that, for me, is a worthy splurge. It's that singular to me. Black tea, olibanum, raspberry, smoke oud, leather, peppermint, cardamom, orange, and saffron. If you don't like peppermint and fragrance, don't worry. This is beautifully combined to create a spiced tea with oud and leather going on. It's a leather forward, and the leather is really hard to distinguish. It's a little bit of an animalic leather, and it's hard to distinguish from that Eastern leaning oud here. The cardamom adds some mystery to it. Really, really, really stunning. This made me think of a religious hermit, the religious hermit. Russian tea oud, of course, I'm talking about Rasputin. This just calls that image to mind. Just the whole mystery and mystique around it, and that time in history. It's what it makes me think of. Beautiful stuff. It is Masque Milano's Russian Tea Oud. Next, we've got the next to the last one, and I still want you to try and figure out what that last fragrance is going to be. Okay, this one I love. It is also, like all these others, newer to my collection. This is Parfum Prissana's L'Ombre de... Oh gosh, I wonder if you told me how to pronounce it too. Hier? I know you said it was 2 syllables, but I'm terrible with French. I'm good with other languages, but French is not one of them. L'Ombre de Hier, I think. Here we go. Apologies for butchering that beautiful language. And the beautiful name of this fragrance. Absolutely love this. Oh, it is so special. This is a 2026 release. It goes for about $180. It's a 30 ml, and it is an extrait. I'm a huge fan of the nose behind this fragrance, Prin L'Homme Rose. He has several different labels or brands. Parfum Prissana is one of them. The other is Stranger's Parfumerie. And then he's got Prin. I believe he collaborates with a couple of other perfumers under a few other labels, but I also think he might have done 1 or 2 of the zoologist fragrances, but let me know in the comments. I should have researched that before I started the video, but I was so nervous about making this video. I don't know why. You all have been great. No one's given me a hard time at all. Oh, I love this. But here's the problem. I love it so much. I've been using quite a bit of it. Well, let me just tell you first. The notes are aldehydes, frankincense, champaca, carnation, civet, orris, clove, cumin, patchouli, coriander, bergamot, lavender, geranium, concrete, jasmine, basil, vetiver, and musk. This is, how do I describe this? It's so complex. It's a sheep, at least it presents as a chypre to me. Bright and lifting from those aldehydes in the beginning. You know how aldehydes are kind of, described as sparkly or bubbly and, effervescent. You definitely get that in the beginning. The carnation adds a spiciness to it and a vintage quality. The civet and cumin together with that wonderful musk, it gives it almost an oak moss quality that puts it squarely into the classic sheep category for me. I think this smells very classic, strong. I think I've said that it reminds me of Matahari. Actually, I didn't say that. One of you guessed. And I said it reminded me of the beautiful Dutch girl who charmed the world with her Javanese dance. But I didn't say who it was. It was Matahari if you watch the video. I have always been fascinated with her. And this makes me think of her and the image I have in my head of her and how resourceful she was, and what she did to win over proper European society at a very dangerous time for the world. In any event, I love this stuff, right? So for myself, I was so intrigued by it, I decided to give myself a few extra sprays the evening that I made the video where I featured it for the first time. And I go to bed, and what terrible luck. My husband does not like it. And he was asleep. And he's like, "What are you doing? Did you just get out of the shower?" And I said, "No, no." And he says, "'Cause you smell like soap." It's like an overwhelming smell of soap. It smells like, and he's naming these, various classical, like 80s soaps. He and I are about the same age. We're Gen X, and they used to have the bar soap. Anyway, I was like, no. And I, to me, this smells nothing like soap, not even a little. And he's like, "Oh my God, I can't take it. It's like you just rubbed soap all over you and you came to bed. What is that?" And I was, like it was annoying. So sadly, he does not like this. And there's another fragrance that I have called Hera by Papillon. And he does not like that either. And my darling husband, woe be the fool who disturbs his harmonious vibe. And he woke up out of a dead sleep to tell me he did not like this. But he's nuts, and I love it, and I don't care. I'm not going to wear it to bed anymore, but I'm going to wear it everywhere else. It is, not even going to do that again. It's this one by Parfum Prissana. There we go. All right. Last fragrance. Can you guess what it is? The hint is around my neck. It's a silk scarf, which I absolutely love, by the way. I have quite a few of these. I have a little collection. I don't collect a lot of things, but I do love me a nice silk scarf. The last fragrance for this evening, by the way, I just have to show you. This was a gift from my mom to me, and I just love this one. This is so 1970s looking to me. Isn't it beautiful? I love it. Gorgeous stuff. Woo! Okay. So the last fragrance, if you haven't guessed yet, it is Soie Malaquais by Dries van Noten. I don't think I've talked about this fragrance yet. I got it in late April, and I wore it pretty frequently throughout May. So this is 100 ml. It's an EDP. It's a 2022 release, and it's $400. I waited a long time and tested this for quite a while. This is my second Dries Van Noten fragrance. I really wanted to be sure. I also don't follow trends. Sometimes I wonder if that's, a good thing. I don't do it. I don't not follow them intentionally. If I hear there's a lot of hype about a fragrance, I'm less inclined to want it. I think it just has something to do with always looking for something different. I've always been like that. My mother, when I was growing up, told me, oh, don't, just be different. Do you, figure yourself out. Don't do something because everybody else is doing it. Now, there are genuinely fragrances out there that are, the latest, greatest thing that I truly enjoy. And I've gotten a couple here and there, but never because it was the latest, greatest thing. Like, I'm the opposite of having FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. That never resonated with me in the least. So I waited a while. This has been out for a while, and it's gotten a lot of great coverage. A lot of people talked about it, and I think it's a beautiful fragrance, but I wasn't ready for it until now. And now I love it. I'm so glad I got it. But I'll tell you, when I tested it about a year ago, I started looking at Dries Van Noten, and the notes appealed to me, but I got a discovery kit about a year ago, and I think it was a while ago, and I really did enjoy this, but it was not my favorite one. There's another one from this house I got first, but this was my second. Actually, it's not. It's my third choice. The second choice, it may have something in common, a little too much, with another fragrance in my collection. I'm still trying to figure it out. And at this price point, I definitely don't want to get anything that for me feels duplicative. So I'm still testing the second choice. This one, however, has bergamot, blackcurrant, rose, silk chestnut, and cocoa. To me, this is bergamot meets cocoa. And a very smooth, silky texture, like chocolate mousse, like that. Chestnut, no, I don't get any chestnut. No, not at all. But that's okay, because I love it. I love it so much I got it. But it makes me think of an Hermes scarf. And I love my scarves, and I love the association in my head between this and those scarves. And there is something of maybe it's just in my head, I don't know. I think when I get these, that there's something of a smell. It could be, like new car smell. Maybe it's new scarf smell. I don't know, but it is distinctive. I haven't smelled a lot of different kinds of silk scarves. I tend to just get from the one designer, just because that's just the way it went. I would get from others, but I started out with this, and I've just kind of built a little collection from there. But I don't know. Does silk have a smell to you? Do you get chestnut from this? I definitely don't. I spent a lot of time in New York City throughout my life. My family is from there. I went to college and law school there. I worked there for many years. And then, having worked there, especially during the winter, they have these vendors on the street that used to serve up hot chestnuts. And they smelled so great. This doesn't smell like that. This smells great. It doesn't smell like that to me. So for me, that's not, and you know, I'm not like a big chestnut person. I haven't like spent my life eating a whole bunch of different chestnuts, you know, and oh, chestnut this, chestnut that. Really haven't had much of them, just, you know, from the street vendors. And I think a couple times, like during Thanksgiving or something, we roasted chestnuts just for fun. But yeah, I don't get that. But what I do get is a lovely citrus chocolate with a very real texture to the fragrance. And it's not often I say that, but this one, definitely there's a smoothness to it that is noticeable. And it is Soie Malaquais. I am probably destroying that. Oh, gosh, how embarrassing. I knew I was going to butcher these names. It's probably why I was nervous. So that is what I wore in May. Yes. Oh, one more, just kind of for fun, I'll tell you. I carry this around in my purse, and I'm doing the most horrible thing with it, and I've been doing it for, I don't know, since late April, but it's Lavande by Le Labo. This is a 9 ml. It's a liquid balm. It's like an oil, and I put it on the backs of my hands, and I have long nails, so I just kind of rub it into my cuticles a lot, and it keeps my nails from getting brittle. And I love the way my hands smell. I don't use too much, but I definitely use a fair amount, and I'm using it on my hands and my forearms a lot. Lavande 31 by Le Labo. There you go. This medium is fantastic. Absolutely love it. And this was a great way for me to test the fragrance without having to go full bottle. I think that Le Labos are a little bit pricey, and I don't have a boutique nearby. So that is the month of May for the Scent Advocate. Let me know what you think of my selections. Did any of them surprise you? Did you guess the Dries Van Noten? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you aren't a subscriber, please consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoy discussion about niche and indie brands and some luxury designer brands. And if you enjoyed the video, give me a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.